Hello everybody, my name is Mathis and welcome to another top 5 Sorry dude, I think I ordered some delivery and I forgot that they were coming. I'll finish this take and I'll go grab it. Hello everybody, my name is Are you... Seriously? Alright, sorry man, I'm just gonna go take care of this, I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't know, man. There was absolutely nobody there. I thought I was getting food, but maybe it was just somebody trying to sell me something. Anyway, hey everybody, my name is Mathis, and welcome to another top 5 video on the channel. 2021 is the age of miracles, apparently, because not only are we getting a sequel to Stalker that I talked about recently, but the long-awaited sequel to Psychonauts 2 finally came out. So, maybe hell can freeze over too. Is that the joke I want to go with? It finally happened. After years of rumors, a mega successful Kickstarter, followed by even more years in development, one of the least likely platformers to get a kiss from a defibrillator, Psychonauts, is back from the dead. And it's probably pretty good. I don't know, I actually haven't played much of it at this point because, I haven't had the time, but its release gave me a thought. Even before Psychonauts, there were countless great old school platformers that haven't had an entry in over a decade. Countless hours of my youth were spent jumping, stomping, and collecting as various different animals in a bunch of fantastical worlds that were all in desperate need of a vacuum. So it put the thought into my mind, what games deserve a franchise resurrection? Games that were criminally ignored as gamers moved on to shinier, newer games. Well, let me tell you. I don't know why I write questions in my own script sometimes. I always feel so awkward. All right, here's your first warning about this list. Most of the games on this list are from the PlayStation 1. It's not my fault, blame Nintendo. Mario was such a successful mascot for their system that nearly every developer was trying to attain a small slice of that mascot pie, throwing their hat into the ring with a cute animal, child, or... Yeah, there wasn't much that wasn't explored when it came to video game mascot is what I'm saying, and that's especially true on the PlayStation. But enough of them were good enough that they got a few games during that generation and then they got left behind, forgotten by the masses, like Croc. Croc got 2 games. Well, all right, he got 3 games if you count the GBA port. Croc hit systems in 1997, with its sequel, Return to the Gobos, coming out just 2 years later in 1999. If you're curious what a gobbo is, it's basically just a little fuzzball with googly eyes slapped onto them. The story of the game is super simple. Croc was found by these goofy dust bunny assholes floating down a river as a child. The gobbos and their king took him in and adopted him, so it's like you're saving your family. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you Croc is some forgotten masterpiece or is a must-play of any sort, but I didn't have a lot of games growing up and Croc was one of the few I owned, so that sucker got played relentlessly. And to my own credit, the visuals are still pretty damn adorable. The devs just clearly wanted to love looking at everything they were making, and I would buy a plush of a gobbo in a heartbeat if I'm honest with you. And yeah, the levels got really repetitive to look at and lacked a lot of variety, but the gameplay itself was solid and fun for the time, I think. I think because Croc had tank controls, which some people love and some people want to see burn in the fiery pits of hell. But I grew up with tons of games that use them, so I enjoy tank controls. But a 3D platformer having them certainly makes this a bit more of a difficult one from the era because it needs, nay, it demands precise platforming skills from the player, maybe even too much at times. 3D platformers were still a new hot thing, and not every developer was like Nintendo and nailing it right out of the gate. But if we were to get a new entry in the Croc series with today's development-minded folk, we could have a really great game on our hands. Maintaining its challenge while modernizing its control scheme would be something I'd love to see. Maybe something along the lines of a Mario game where the main levels and goals are relatively simple, but extras and secrets demand nothing but a mastery over the controls. I'd also love to see them lean into Croc being, a Croc more. Water levels, while especially back in the 90s, always sucked. But Croc could thrive in water levels, giving him new exciting abilities and fun places to explore and discover. Being able to pick your level platformer style while exploring a nice hub world with its own collectibles. There's a load of potential behind this one, and even if the first few games weren't anything super special, there's plenty of potential just sitting under the surface for a Croc 3 or a Croc reboot. All right, for this next one, you gotta do me a favor. Okay. First, close your eyes. Now, picture this along with me. First, you're a glove. Not just a regular glove, no. A magician's glove. And because you're a magician's glove, you're magical. As a magical glove, you move around by running your fingers along your ball. You bounce your ball. If you use the tip of your finger, you can change your ball to make it heavier. The gentler you are with your ball, the more your ball will change its shape. Your ball reacts to your touch. Don't touch it too hard. You may injure your ball.
It's still balls.
Out of all the games on the list, this one might be the one that raises the most eyebrows. This game is balls. And for the sake of time, I won't list every time the developer dropped the ball with its development, but there's a lot wrong with it. Balls dropped in all directions, if you will. I'll give you a small taste. If you lose your ball, you lose a life. It doesn't matter if you can move around perfectly fine without cupping a ball. If you have no ball, you have no life. The ball physics aren't reliable, and the game has a bunch of physics quirk, and sometimes when you press the button, the character doesn't respond, and sometimes the glove does something you didn't want it to do. Also, there's a known bug where it'll delete your save sometimes. No! But fear not, my young ballers. The potential for this game also lies deep within the balls.
What? What?
What puts Glover on this I demand a damn sequel list is the balls. Each ball vastly changes how Glover moves. Some balls allow you to bounce, giving access to higher ledges or hopping over some more difficult obstacles. Others are extremely heavy, like the bowling ball, which won't bounce and moves much more slowly, but is way easier to control and could be a good weapon. It's the variable ways you can tackle the level or move about and explore that are the real draw. And I can't help but think about Mario Odyssey just a little bit with the potential for an extremely fun and empowering movement system. The level design is mostly built with this varied movement mechanic in mind, with more than enough challenges that are approachable and beatable in various different ways early in the game before the later stages become a walking nightmare for your balls. Are you serious? All right, I'm sorry, man. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go take care of this. Package delivery! It was a package this time, Dino. To the judge. Yeah, there was actually a package there this time, Dean. An actual package. Let's finish up this video and I'll open it after. I really strive to keep this list free of games that are too similar to Mario. I wanted to make sure the games listed had unique mechanics and didn't feel all the same. But the 90s were filled with so many platformers, it was nearly impossible for me not to cross the streams. And the result of such dangerous maneuvers is Gex. Like an alien xenomorph hyper-evolving at unimaginable speeds, Gex started as a 2D platformer, became a 3D platformer 2 years later, then burned itself out in '99 after his third game. Gex was all about the pop culture at the time, riffing on things that nowadays would be dated if any kid tried to play it, and jokes that are in incredibly poor taste even back then, but even triply so today. But for a hot minute, Gex seemed to achieve what everyone else wanted to achieve. A successful platforming mascot as a smart-ass Gecko. But tell me if the following sounds a little familiar. Gex starts in a hub world with a bunch of TVs that he can jump into. After choosing which world you want to play in, you then choose which remote you want to collect. And then afterward, you go through the themed level of that particular TV that you chose, like a Saturday morning cartoon or a horror TV channel, and collect the remote along with a bunch of collectibles before leaving a very themed, beautiful level to look at, and then having to do it over again. Gex doesn't do anything new, even for when it came out, but its level design and mechanics were still incredibly good. The thing that made him popular was also his undoing, unfortunately. He was truly made for the 90s. But What if we saw Gex in a modern day setting? Maybe even going the way of Conker's Bad Fur Day. Just take on the M rating and go crazy with pop culture references. You could do something like a Game of Thrones inspired level, a superhero one, a horror level could be completely different with today's popular horror. Gex is ripe for a comeback, and its satirical take on today's entertainment would be a fun and easy way for constant laughs. Just bring back my Gecko, damn it. I want my pet Gecko and not the one that keeps trying to sell me friggin' car insurance. In that same scramble that every developer was doing looking for their next quote-unquote Mario, not everyone went with the tried and true, hey, don't copy my homework method, kinda like Gex did. Some went weird with it. Enter Tomba. Tomba is a game where you play a pink-haired caveman out to defeat 7 evil pigs in a semi-open world where, like all the games on this list, you'll be platforming your way to victory and defeating the evil pigs so you can resume Tomba's favorite hobby, chasing and grabbing animals. You'll be jumping on things, whipping things, and even grabbing onto them for dear life in this very unique take on a platformer, all while looking at gorgeous sprites and art on screen that have truly held up today. I'm not kidding, I love the way Tomba looks. It's bright, colorful, and in my mind and eyes, has aged well. But art and decent platforming mechanics aren't enough to justify a return and to get listed on my list. I'm a picky boy. I'm gonna pick you like a fresh pepper. Tomba stands out because it's also an early example of an early open world game mixed with some light RPG elements. There's villages with different NPCs, some of which will give you side quests to help them out, whether they need you to find a lost item or hunt down a nasty pig. You'll have plenty of exploration in these large levels, which themselves are stars of the show. Remember that incredibly good indie game Fez, and how it wowed people when you could rotate the levels? Wow. Well, Tomba was doing that before people were impressed by the little things. Yeah, it's not nearly as robust or deep or complex as something like Fez, and Tomba was far from perfect with its notoriously wonky difficulty balance, being a breeze one moment and pummeling you to death with death pits, insane enemies mixed with the sudden demand for incredibly precise platforming with a 2D character. I'm out of breath. But Tomba's ability to mix those 2D sprites with the 3D world that could and would change and rotate as you explored it also meant that there were tons of secrets and unique ways to explore and find things in this game. You could lose yourself in the Tomba world just for a little bit, and not many other platformers could say that back then. So yeah, Tomba can grab things and throw them, but can he do this?
Shake, shake.
Wait, it was that easy the whole freaking time? While I would love to do a video for every game on this list, this is the only one that I'm absolutely certain I'm going to do a full video on. I love this game so much. So please, God, give me a new Mischief Makers. This absolute LSD trip of a game from 1995 on the N64 is all about you playing a robotic maid named Marina on the planet Clancer, who after having some tea time with your character's creator, has to then go off and rescue him because during that tea time, the species of the planet Clancer, called Clancers, have been brainwashed by the Emperor of Clancer to kidnap the visiting professor who, like I said, is your creator. And it's up to you to grab, shake, and throw every enemy and object in your way. That's how you fight. I'm serious. You grab a thing and shake a thing, and then they become a weapon that you throw the thing. And every Clancer in the game looks like they desperately want to be put out of their misery. Oh, they're so cute. I rented this game endless times as a kid, and I could not beat it. I even played it some years ago on an emulator and got further, but still couldn't quite beat it. Its difficulty spikes hard toward the end of the game, but its visuals, unique, I guess you could call it, combat mechanics, and charm kept me coming back. For younger Mathis, the ability to interact with nearly everything around you had me hooked, and ever since then, it's had this weird hypnotic hold on me that I can't quite seem to let go. Its developer, Treasure, are also some of my favorite developers from this time. And I know Dean loves them too. Guardian Heroes was my first introduction to them, and each game I've played from them since then has been just as unique and creative as the last. Treasure certainly is a treasure. Now give me more Mischief Makers, you motherfucker. Narrowing it down to 5 games was a nearly impossible task. I feel like I could do 5 more videos on 5 more platformers that deserve another iteration or sequel or modern revivification. That's a weird word. Revival. We'll go with the revival. And if there's a game that I missed and you think that I should have put on the list, like I'm sure you already have, let me know in the comments below. I want to know what other series maybe I never got to play growing up that I could check out. And if you enjoyed these videos, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that like button. It does me a huge amount of help when you do that. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. All right, good episode, Dean. All right, let's get this box open, dude.